or I'll produce a job that she ends up being the photographer on, or whatever the case may be. So there's overlap, but we have definitely come to realize that she has her distinct responsibilities and I have mine, and that really does help. I mean, there'll be a work day that we don't even talk about work in any capacity. If I'm at the office or I'm on set and we talk via, text, let's say, it's because we're talking about, who's doing pickup with the kids and what's for dinner. And there's literally no work exchange that day. I'm doing my job, she's doing hers, and we just reconvene at night for dinner. So
no, there's some good advice there, because again, like, this seems to be more and more prevalent. So remember that if you're out there.
Have distinct responsibilities, and it kind of helps
and
both.
maybe separate the spaces too. That seems to be
that seems to work pretty well, because then they can just go, all right, well, we work together, but we're in separate locations today.
So we're getting the high sign behind the scenes here from Jesse. Let's start to wrap this up. But before we do, I want to have one last question for both of you guys. What still excites you when you wake up in the morning and makes you want to do this? Like, a job's a job at the end of the day sometimes, right? You got to make a paycheck, but there has to be something exciting about this still that makes you want to get up and do it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Going on set. Yeah. I mean, seriously, it's what allows me to enjoy just running a company, if you will. I'm not one who is going to, and not for the foreseeable future. I am not going to be 9 to 5 at the studio. I'm just not. I'm not going to be in front of my desk. I mean, I know that I have to have, let's say, depends on how busy we are, minimum obviously 1 upwards of 3 days at the office. If depends on how the schedule aligns. But if I'm not on set 1 to 3 days a week, I'm gonna lose my mind. It's just there's always something that needs to happen. We talked about payroll has to happen. I have to answer client emails. I have to sell a job to get us to the next job, right? But if I'm not on set, I'm losing my mind. That's what gets me. That's what gets me going. I mean, I gaffed for last week. I was a cam op and a gaffer last week on 2 separate jobs. This upcoming week, we are doing product photos for a client of ours. What else do we have? We have another, we're doing a campaign for a nonprofit. Nonprofit. So it's just what it comes down to. And I mean, I will produce, I will DP, I will first AC, I will gaff. And I still get a lot of phone calls as a gaffer, and it really just keeps me out in the field, keeps me young. I got 2 kids, so I run around plenty. Throwing them around is my workout, but also slinging sandbags and C stands and combos. I mean, it does not faze me. I'd rather be out in the field, and
it helps with the 1 ton that we've built too, right?
Oh yeah, that's
for
true.
Rentals and stuff. So.
I mean, we have our 1.5 ton. We got a lot of gear. We got
you got camera bodies and lenses and all kinds of stuff. So we'll make sure you're linked in the description below for all your services. But what about you, Ryan?
I'm going to piggyback off that a little, because being on set is definitely my happy place. It's where I like to be. But because every day is kind of different. And that's the one thing that always gets me. That was why I didn't want to stay a welder. It was the same thing every day, monotonous. I go in, I lay a couple beads down, and I go home, Been as I said, I've been editing for the last few weeks, so I'm getting a little stir crazy, ready to get out of the house. But every week is different. Every day sometimes is different. You never know if I'm driving to Jacksonville to gaff a lawyer commercial, if I'm, going to IMG to shoot a sports profile on a student athlete, or going to Tampa International. Everything is always different, and it just keeps it interesting. And I just love being on set. And me and Kevin are the same, where we can shoot, we can produce, we can gaff. First AC, we're kind of versatile. We've done it all as we've come up, and we've gotten good enough at each that we can still do them.
But don't worry, we know when we need the crew from Tampa to fill in the other roles. So we don't.
There's a time and place.
Only so many hats you can wear.
And we don't do the 1-man bands. I mean, we're a production company. I think bare minimum, bottom of the barrel, it's a 3-man job. And because some clients just need that, budgets, right? And that's fine. But then if we're up to 7, 10, 15 people, we're bringing in the freelancers in the area. Go back to that, and it's all Tampa based. It's all Tampa Bay based, really.
So bouncing off that answer, not just the physical aspect of being on set, but what creatively is still driving you guys to try new things, do something different, evolve as filmmakers?
Seeing all the just phenomenal content that's always put out nowadays. I mean, because of social media, you can follow 10 different DPs, 15 different agencies. There's a gaffer out in Denver that I love what he is able to do with multiple lights, 2 lights, the manner in which he utilizes his gear. And he actually has a 1.5 ton that is somewhat similar to ours. And I follow him, and I actually purposely set his content to notify me when he posts, because I know I'm going to gain value from it.
Yeah.
So seeing all of these different inspirations is what creatively keeps me going, because I'll see something on those channels or those posts and I'm going to go, wow, I really like the utilization of that key light, or how creatively they were able to shape an interview in a ridiculously tight or on the inverse, ridiculously large space.
Yeah.
And really just, it pushes me, when I see a 2-person interview and I see the B cam angle and I'm like, my God, that is.
How did you think of that?
That was. I mean, just for the cycling documentary. I mean, we grabbed a bunch of stills straight off of social media, about 9 different posts comprised like our lookbook for some cycling, some exterior, some interviews. I mean, there was an ad on YouTube that got me inspired for the interview that I sent you.
We do that all the time. We'll send stuff back and forth. And I'm similar with him, where it's like there's just so much content out there that you consume that it's like, how could you not?
Shockingly good content.
Well, exactly. If you follow the right people, right, you can go down these rabbit holes of stupidness, right? But if you follow creative people that are trying to get better like you are, there's so much creativity out there that every day I see something and I go, how can I up my game a little bit more,
So Kevin, in addition to being a branding company, what other services does Two Stories Media provide?
Gear. A lot of gear.
And what types of gear?
Yeah, so we've spent the last, call it year and a half really building up our gear. We have a 1.5 ton fully loaded with all the fun goodies that a production would traditionally need, and it's not your traditional 1 ton. We call it a 1.5 ton because it's I mean we're maxing that guy out.
Yeah,
it's beefy.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that a little bit. So when you're talking about a 1.5 ton grip and electric package, what does that look like today?
So because we kind of came up in G&E, I definitely feel like I came up in as a grip and kind of worked my way up to being a gaffer and now a DP. I've realized that a lot of stuff on a traditional 1 ton just isn't overly useful. It's just kind of there and you don't really use it. So ours, we have a senior magliner cart. We have our brand new innovative cart. We have
does all type.
Thank you. Yeah. It's kind of like a medium size does all. It's not a full size does all, but it works for us.
Yeah.
Aperture 1200D, Aperture 600D. We got light panel Geminis, got some Nan lights on there, Titan tubes, which everyone loves a kit of Titan tubes.